This tutorial will show you the options available to customize your final report using the standard print settings. Let's start with the example report open. All of the print settings and report presentation options are contained in the menu option, Setup, Print Settings. When we open it up, you will see that we have 4 tabs: Margins, Page Options, Page Layout, and Fonts. These 4 tabs are where you control how the report looks and feels. To get started, let's take a look at how the report looks using the default print settings. To do this, we'll go to File, Print Preview. As you can see, we have a checklist style report. The category headers are green. The company name shows in the top middle, as well as some of the other settings. What we're going to do is change some of these settings. So we'll close out of the print preview and go back to Setup, Print Settings. The first change we're going to make is to add a cover page to our report. To do this, we'll need to go to the Page Options tab. Then we'll check the box that says Print a Cover Page at the beginning of each report. And then we'll click on the button for Cover Page Settings. As you can see, there are 4 different options. Option 1 is company name and logo, a title, a picture, and the address. Option 2, a title, a picture, address, and the client and company name. Option 3 you can use with your letterhead, and that'll show a picture and an address only. And 4 is the same as number 2, but without the picture. Let's go to option 1. And the first option gives us a spot to add our logo. To add your logo, click on Locate, find the file that you're looking for, and then click OK. The next screen gives you the option to change the logo size, but we'll keep it as is and click OK again. This is where we can put in the title of the report. Let's type in Property Condition Report as the title. And then once you finish making your changes to the cover page, we'll click OK. Now let's take a look at our newly added cover page. To do this, we'll go to File, Print Preview. As you can see, there is a new window that appears with cover sheet data. It pulls the property address directly out of the General Information section. At the bottom, by clicking Locate, you can select a photo to add to the cover page. We'll select our photo, and then we'll click OK, and then hit Continue. Now you can see we have a cover page that has our logo in the top left corner with our company information, the new title, and a photo of the home. The next change we are going to make is that we are going to change the way the ratings are presented. As you can see in our sections, ratings print as checkboxes. What we're going to do is change them to show up as text. We'll close out of the print preview and go back to Setup, Print Settings. Once again, we'll be on the Page Options tab. And at the bottom, we have our choices for our ratings. Right now it says we're going to view the ratings as checkboxes. We're going to change that to say as text. Now the ratings keys is the information that shows up at the top of each category. Instead of having it just show abbreviations, you can have it show a full rating key, which includes the rating, its meaning, and if you are using checkboxes, also its abbreviation. We'll change that to full. Let's click OK and go back to File, Print Preview. And we'll see how the report looks now. As you can see, the top of each category, there's a full exclamation of what each rating means, and rather than them show up as checkboxes, they show up as words. The next change we're going to make is we're going to change the look of the report some. Click Close, and then we'll go back to Setup, Print Settings. First, we'll change the category headers. Currently, they are left justified reverse block with green text. Let's change this to be left justified with bold line. We'll make the color blue, and we'll change the size to large. Let's click OK, and we'll go back to File, Print Preview, to see how our changes look. As you can see, our category headers now look much different than before. As you can see, with just a few changes, the report looks very different. Now we are going to go back to Print Settings and look at all of the other options available for customizing your report. We'll click Close and then Setup, Print Settings. First, we have our Margins tab. At the top, you can customize the margins as desired. Page options, we have a lot more options available. The first is Create Summaries. If you do not want summaries to appear with your report, then you would uncheck this box. The next option is for numbering the summary items. If you do not want the items in the summaries to be numbered, then you would uncheck this box. Next is Combine Rating Summaries. By checking this option, the program will create only one summary with each report, instead of having a separate summary for each rating marked to create a summary. Next, we have Use Standard Fonts and Summaries. The way it works by default is that whatever font you use for each note you type in, it's the same font that will appear in the summary. If you would like your summary to use the same font throughout, then you should check this box. We already looked at printing the cover page, so we'll look at Use Text Separator. A text separator allows you to separate your notes from your descriptions so that when your report prints out, there is something in between each line's description and notes. This is only relevant if you are using a template that has both descriptions and notes for each line. By default, the program is going to include a table of contents at the beginning of each report, which is helpful if your report is multiple pages. If you would like to get rid of the table of contents, simply uncheck that box. Print entered lines only means that only lines that have information filled out will appear in the report. This is often used when performing a reinspection. Print line numbers is an option that when checked, it will make it so that each line is numbered in a category. The next is View Photos. There are three options for this. You have the option to have photos show up in both the summary and the body of the report, just the summary, or only in the body. By default, it is set to show in both the summary and the body. Next, we have the print order. Here is where you can change whether the summaries appear before the main body of the report or after. We already took a look at the ratings options, so let's move on to the Page Layout tab. Page Layout allows you to control the way the header of the report appears. By default, the company name will appear centered above the header. the date and time will appear on the left, and the page number and file names will both appear in the top right. Let's change the date and time to also show up in the top right. Next, we have a spot for our company logo. To add your company logo to each page, click the button with the 3 dots, select your logo, and then click OK. And now our logo will show up in our report. Lastly, we have the Fonts tab. On Fonts, first we have the template text, and then we have the data text. The program allows you to have different fonts for template text and data text so that it is very easy to separate out in the report what you entered versus what is a part of the template. Next, we have the company name font. Let's change the company name font to be Veranda. And then you can make it larger, so we'll do size 22. We'll make it underlined and put it in green. Alrighty, and click Close when you've changed your font. And as you can see, the company name will have a preview show up. Let's click OK and take a look at how the report looks now. We'll go back to File, Print Preview. As you can see, the report looks a lot different now. We have the company name different. We have our logo at the top of each page. And then we also have our other changes that we've made. We'll go ahead and click Close and take a look at one last option in the print settings. Go back to Setup and Print Settings. As you experiment and make changes to the print settings, you can always go back to the out-of-the-box settings by simply clicking on the button called Restore Default Print Settings, and that will take it back to the original settings. This concludes the report presentation options tutorial.